Okay, we're going to knock up a very simple website using Notepad. So you need to fire up Notepad. I think you'll find it in accessories, depends on whether you're running Vista or Windows 7 or XP, but you need Notepad is the program we're going to use, and we're going to use a browser to look at the web pages. I'm using Chrome here, but you can use Internet Explorer or Firefox, not bothered which. I've got, as I say, I've got Chrome here, and we're going to use a file explorer just to have a look at where we're saving this stuff. So that's basically how I've got the screen set up with these three programs. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the file explorer and just back up here. You see I'm working from my memory stick. I'm going to go to new folder, and I'm going to create a folder to put the website in. So I'm going to call this, I don't know, that should do us, my website. Double click on that, and it's empty, as you can see. We can actually look at that folder as well using Google Chrome. If I hit F, which is where my memory stick is, hit F, it should, give it a second, load up the actual directories, and there are the directories that are on the files that are on my memory stick. And if I click on my website, you can see there's nothing in there, which matches what we have here. There are no files saved in there. So let's go on to Notepad and let's type some text in here, which says this is the text on the front of my page. That should do us. And let's hit save. Now I'm going to save as. I'm going to save it in that directory I've just created. Yeah, we're on the right place. Now, something you just need to notice about Notepad is it defaults to this particular file suffix, this file ending here, .txt, because most of the time you just use Notepad for knocking up text files. We don't quite want that, and I'll show you why in a second. If I just give this a name, let's call it, I don't know, home page, will seem to make sense, and I'll leave this default ending of txt. This is how you change it here, but if I leave that at txt, hit my website, you should see home page will pop up here. You should see it in your Explorer. You might have to is it is this one of these? Is view refresh? There it is. I'm an Ubuntu kind of guy, so I'm still trying to remember all the things, all the buttons in XP. So you might have to hit refresh to see, but it should pop up automatically. Notice the icon on the left hand side here. It's just an ordinary text icon. It doesn't look like it. It hasn't got the little Google Chrome icon, or if Internet Explorer is your default browser, it hasn't got the little IE icon there. It just says text document. And if I go over to Google Chrome and hit F5, now remember, when you're using a browser, if something changes, the underlying web page changes on a browser, you've got to hit F5 to refresh. So F5, now you can see it says homepage.txt, and depending on your browser, you may or may not be able to see that what I've typed in there. I think with this version of Chrome it will show me, there it is, it shows you the text. Looks a bit boring, but it will show you the text. Some browsers won't do that because you haven't got tags set up, and we're about to go on to tags next. But that works. Certainly phone browsers, they may have a problem seeing that as a web page. So homepage.txt, what we're going to do is we're going to save this as with a web page extension. So if I go into the file explorer, hit delete, and that should have disappeared as well. If I go back to Google Chrome, hit F5, you can see it's deleted. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into homepage, Notepad, and hit save as. And this time I'm going to change the extension. I'm going to change it to .htm. And if I say that as .htm, it should appear. And now look, because I've set Google Chrome as my default browser, it's given a little Chrome icon by the side, so it's recognised it as a HTML page. And if IE was your Internet Explorer was your default web browser, then it would have a little IE logo there. So it can now see it as a web page. Go over here, hit F5. we can see homepage.html, which is what we called it, but it still looks pretty boring. So what we'd like to do is be able to change a couple of things on here. First of all is the tab in the browser. It just gives it the default file name. We might want that to say something like "this is our snazzy web page," and we probably want to change this text to be able to put headings and so forth. And the way you do this in web pages is by the use of tags. So what I'm going to do is go back over to Notepad here. I'm going to start adding some tags. That bit of text I'm going to stick back in the web page. I'm going to move it out of the way for a second. I'm going to put some tags in here. Now the thing about tags is that they've got to open and close. So the opening tag you're going to have is going to be HTML, which will tell the browser that this is a bit of HTML, straightforward. And everything we want in the web page will appear between those two tags, and we basically want broadly two sets of instructions. We want all the things that tell the browser about the web page, like the title of it and so forth, and they go in a tag called head, and we need to close head. And then you want the stuff that appears on the page, and that appears in the body of the page, and surprise surprise, that tag is called body. And that is pretty well the standard structure of every web page out there. You've got the title, it tells it HTML. You've got the header, which will have all the stuff about the web page, and you've got body, which is the actual text. So this text here, let's just pick that back up. Control X to copy it, stick it in the body. Now let's go back to the head. We wanted to change the title of this thing here. See where it says homepage.html? We want to change the title of that. So there's a tag you can put in head called title. Remember, it's got to close. And let's call it my super page. That's the title we want it. And if I now hit File Save, now from here on in I'm probably going to try and remember to hit Control S. The reason why I can use Control S is that we already have the web page saved here, so we'll just keep saving over that all the time. If I hit Control S, it'll save that page and I can go straight over here, F5. And that's broadly how you develop web pages, is you're in your editor, Control S, web page, F5. So over here I'm going to do Control S to save. Over here, hit F5, and you should see the changes. So now see that we've got a title here that says My Super Page, and we've got the text on here. We're just going to add a couple of more tags. Let's add a H1, we'll add a heading, H1, and call this the heading. And this text down here, let's change a couple of things in here. We'll put a tag in here which is bold, and close that again, bold. Well, that's reasonable. Control S to save that. Over to the web page, hit F5, and that is what our web page looks like. That's what I'd like you to knock up. I'm going to have a go at breaking it and seeing what the errors look like when we break it. That's it.